Good day. Well, looking around, looks like we're in an old shop here. Rough cut wood on the wall, fan spinning up there. A couple of tall skinny windows, a distributor machine, some firewood. Oh wait, it's not an old shop at all. It's in fact a new shop. Come over here. This is where we did all the work on the 49 Fargo Truck TV episodes 1 through 13. And we decided we needed some more room, so we got some more room. We came out the front of the old shop and opened up an 18-foot opening and added this. And so that's what we have. We have this. And what else we have? We have this. It's another Fargo. This is a 1937 Fargo 2-ton. It was a grain truck. Had an 8x9 wood box. Yeah, 8 feet wide. So you can imagine how wide it was, sticking out past the cab on this thing, because the cab is quite small. Like 2 guys can barely fit in this cab. A very primitive machine. It's got just the 2 gauges in the middle, Fargo badging, hand crank for opening the front windshield to get a little more airflow in. The window frame's still here, so you can see the hinges are seeing better days. Window washer pivot, wiper arm pivot. It's only got one. Only a driver needed to see. Nobody else did. This still has the flathead in it. It does not run. It's missing some stuff on the distributor here, but it's pretty complete. It might turn over. I haven't been able to try. I don't have a socket big enough to fit on the front of it because it's quite big, and I don't have the tool that fits in here that you could try and start this by hand if you wanted to. A crank. Hand crank start this vehicle. That's how old it is. Since 1937, you could start it by hand if that's was a situation you were in where it was dead or whatever. Hard to imagine that vehicles were like that. It's just such a huge change in technology in cars from what they were to what they are. If you're familiar with the older, like a Dodge half-ton of this vintage, you'd notice that the grille is much taller on the heavy truck, and then the hood is also longer this way because of the fact that the cab itself sits up higher on the, and so it's got to fill more in. The fenders are lower because of the size of the axle and stuff, so the sides of the hood are a little bigger than on a half-ton. It's unfortunate that the emblems have been taken off it. I wish it would have still had a really nice emblem. Would have gone here, and here you could see a little bit of the F and a little bit of the O left. So someone just pried it off and wrecked it, unfortunately. It's too bad they didn't even get the emblem, really, but yeah. So hoping to make a bit of a project out of this. A bit of a balance of style and power without being overdone. In fact, I'm not sure whether I have anything in mind for paint. I don't like the term rat rod, but it could be what some would call that when we're done. It's got some rust. It's not awful for rust, but the doors here have seen some better days for sure, but the skins are still all there. The floors are solid. The cab itself was kind of a lot crookeder than it is. Typical of farm trucks, they get hit. This was pushed in quite dramatically here, and I was able to push it back out. It's all single wall construction back in those days, so if you can push on it from behind or hit it from behind with something, you can pop it back out. And a lot of dents have been popped out of this already, and it looks okay, with them popped back out. So got a big block lined up for this. Some suspension components lined up for it. It's gonna be interesting. It's not gonna be an antique you'd see in a parade. It's not gonna be polished or pretty, but it's gonna be fun to drive. I've got some half-ton components for the suspension and some, well, I've got quite a mishmash of stuff we're gonna put on it and see what we can make out of this thing, and it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. It's not gonna be quite as pretty as the 49, but it will be cool nonetheless. So stay tuned.